love when people of color come up to me and say, you don't know what it meant to me to see myself in a cartoon. I got one little black girl that I get to see that looks like me. Thank you so much. I get off on that. It's great.
Hi guys, welcome back and thanks for coming. If you have watched any of my previous videos, you know that I will take any chance to gush about my love for cartoons and animation, how it's a medium that can tell so many different stories, so many different ways, and reach anyone no matter their age. And there will definitely be some of that today. But it will also be an honest examination on how black girls are depicted in cartoons, and how that can impact and shape the way girls who look like this are viewed. Now, this isn't me calling out any of these cartoons or their creators as being racist or even having ill intent. I'm not an expert on every single cartoon there is, and I am definitely not the voice of a black girl, as we can all have different opinions on subjects, funnily enough. And I am sure this has been talked about many times on YouTube before, but I'm just a black woman who loves cartoons and wants to talk about both of those aspects in my life. My lovely listeners, let's take a look at black girls in cartoons.
Guys, she is actually the very ghetto character, but she plays the harp. She's very educated. She has a lot of values instilled in her, but yet and still she portrays this. I'm just like this, you know. But when I go home, it's like, yes, ma'am, yes, sir.
So most people of color unfortunately know the stereotypes they are often forced into and can readily recognize them the second they appear in media. It's a fact that these stereotypes still persist to this day and can be extremely harmful. When it comes to black girls in cartoons, it can be an easy breakdown of a lot of what you might see. When it comes to the character design himself, many animated works have thankfully avoided the harmful stereotypical black girl looks that were prevalent decades ago, from completely over-exaggerated features, like their lips, to appearing less hygienic than their white counterparts. But when it comes to the characters themselves, there has been a trend of specific roles they fit into that has only recently started to break. There's the white girl or white guy's best friend who usually only seen with said best friend, rarely listened to, depicted as sassy and bluntly honest. There's the temporary love interest to the non-black character who will usually be perfectly fine or over-the-top awful, but either way they'll be written out of the show before you even learn their last name. I made a whole video on this particular trope, so if you like to, you can go ahead and click the link above to watch more. There's the permanent girlfriend to the black guy or boy of color in the cast that is only there to give them a prop to bring out when needed. There's the second or third mean girl bully who will only be there to round out the unit and carry no function besides being a carbon copy of the other one or two mean girls, and still be white-coded. Actually wait, pretty much most of these roles can easily be white-coded. And just to clarify, when I say white-coded, what I mean is that a character's race and background is never a factor in what they do or say, or how they appear to be. And some might think this is a good thing, that of course a character shouldn't have their race be the center of their identity, and he'd be completely right. Blackness isn't a personality and neither is whiteness. Trust that I know a bunch of black girls that act stereotypically white, me being one of them. You can ask any of my aunties and they will tell you in great embarrassing detail. But the point is that this is not all black girls. People's experiences will shape how they perceive the world and live in it, and black people have experiences that a white person will never experience and never fully understand, and that is just a fact. It's good to show that a black girl doesn't have to talk a certain way, or style her hair a certain way, or treat people a certain way to be black. But many do just because that's how they are. It may seem easier and safer just to have a black girl act in a way you'd expect white girl characters to act, but it's usually just not that simple. Culture can carry different weight to anyone and any character, and incorporating that into your story may take some extra effort, but it's proof that you care. From favorite foods, to particular family names, to areas of interest, it can feel refreshing and empowering for a black girl to see someone who not only looks like them, but that they would know and understand emotionally. That is how you break a black girl out of a role that she's been forced into for so long. You treat them as more than a prop.
Susie, what's yours? I know for Susie, one of the most important things was that she sounds smart and that she's very well spoken, because there were not a lot of brown girls in cartoons. As a matter of fact, there still aren't.
You probably gathered from the previous section that most black girls' stories just don't have their own stories. If they aren't the mouthpieces for the lessons the white kids need to learn, usually there's a prop or an afterthought. And unless we are the main characters, this is rarely broken. Black girls will rarely have their own arcs, long-lasting conflicts, or even flaws. Now, there are some well-respected exceptions to these rules from back in the day, like Valerie Gray from Danny Phantom, who started off as a token mean girl and a temporary love interest to the protagonist Danny, but her character became much more than that the more we saw of her. She had her own believable goals and ambitions that spanned a lot of her time in the show, and while you definitely didn't agree with a lot of her actions, you could understand her desires and where they came from. Though she ultimately became more of an anti-hero in the end, her arc as an antagonistic force to Danny gave her a complexity that many black female characters just don't get. And of course, when thinking of cool characters from early 2000s cartoons, I will bet everything number 5 or Abigail Lincoln from Kids Next Door will make anyone's top 10 list. Not only was she the calm and cool one of the group of kid agents, she carried a wiseness to her that went past her actual age. You truly felt her friendship with all of her team, and especially Nigel, number 1, as he named her his successor. Plus, her appearance to the overall world of K&D can't be unmatched. I mean, Operation Maurice will still always be one of my favorite episodes from the run. And with more recent examples, such as Wolf from Kipo of the Age of the Wonder Beasts, who had to go through an arc marked by abandonment, self-doubt, and learning to trust others again, from literally any black girl in Craig of the Creek, there's more than one. They all have their own different believable personalities and challenges, and it's amazing. The reason a lot of these characters' stories work so well is because they are treated as actual characters. Black girls don't always have to be the one to the right, and they get to fail and learn from those fails like anybody else to grow better. They can have different kinds of dynamics with different characters depending on their previous actions or alliances. Their stories can reflect real-world issues girls like this go through, like being forced to grow up too fast, self-worth, expressing emotions in a healthy way, family issues, and this can be done without feeling as though you're watching an after-school special. Their stories matter, and they can touch anyone no matter who they are. Like any other character, they have their own stories to tell, and they deserve to be able to tell them.
Like, while you were making the show, were you aware that, like, wow, this is a show full of, like, black actors? This is a show about a black family, and that's, like, really, really big.
I thought it was dope because it was something I could relate to. Watching it now, I'm like, I'm so glad there's something like this for my babies to watch. You know?
So this is a good time as any to say that you cannot have a video talking about black girls in cartoons without paying respect to the black female voice actors that have paved the way through tremendous obstacles to bring these characters to life. Voice actors such as Crystal Scales, Cree Summer, Aisha Tyler, Regina King, Kyla Pratt, Nichelle Nichols, Shauna Lathan, and so many others have and are continuing to do amazing work. Most are still alive at the time of recording this video, but you know you can still pay respect to living celebrities, especially the black ones. They gave a voice to characters that have touched so many young black viewers, including myself. Black female voice actors, creators, and producers know more than anyone they are not given many opportunities to work with characters like them. And when they are, they try their hardest to bring them to life in any way they can. I can see myself in black characters just like how I can see myself in white characters or other characters of color. But to be honest, it has only gone one way for a very long time. And in that 1 in a dozen characters that bring something new, of course we would cherish them. And I'm sure anyone living in this time knows the phrase, representation matters. When you haven't been in a position to be a minority in media, it's hard to understand the importance of it. But it's important because it gives opportunities and respect to the creators and performers of color who definitely don't get enough of it. It gives audiences who aren't exposed to different people in their day-to-day life to experience something new and real. And it gives viewers who look like this a message that they exist and they deserve to be seen. There are black girls who are loud and proud. There are black girls who prefer a quiet day with a good book. There are black mean girls. There are black girls with accents. There are black girls who code switch. There are black girl dreamers. There are black girl nerds. There are black girl dancers, singers, writers, fighters, artists. They can be your kind best friends, your wise teachers, your quick-witted rivals, your annoying little sisters, your cool co-workers, your lazy cousins, your role models, and your favorite characters.
There's things that you learn from your family that you're like, oh, my family is driving me crazy. I don't feel like doing this. But when it's something you love and it's being brought to you, then it's easier to take it in, you know? Yeah. So watching it now, I'm like, I'm so glad there's something like this for my babies to watch. You know?
It's the idea of just letting black girls exist. They don't have to be inspiring to inspire. They don't all have to have the same walk of life to be relatable to all the black girls watching them. They can just be. It's beating a dead horse at this point to say we are not a monolith. We watch cartoons and anime, we read comic books and graphic novels, we write fanfiction and go to conventions, and we have for a very long time. We have had to accept the bare minimum for creators to just be treated with respect in their works, and in no way should anyone forget that. I'm glad we have cartoons like Craig of the Creek and soon a spin-off, Jessica's Big Little World. And I'm glad we have had so many pioneers working in the field as creators, voice actors, and directors, trying to bring these characters to the forefront and create amazing stories for them. When a character is made with care and compassion, they become more than just their parts. They have a sense of humanity to them that can only be understood when they are in action. Representation is representing that humanity in all of us, and I hope we get to see so much more in that in the years to come. Thank you for watching, subscribe if you like, and have an amazing day.